Have you guys ever been wondering what indicators I personally have been using that help me generate 7 figures from the market? Well, in today's video, I'm going to go dive straight into these indicators that are part of the ETU indicator package. So let's just get straight into it. So here are the indicators here. We'll just go over these one by one. Okay, we're going to go over the structure indicator first, and from there, we will go down from there. So this is the first indicator that I utilize every single day in the markets. And all this does here is just draws out structure for me. So break structure, things of that nature. And also shows the raw pivot points. So you can enable and disable this. This will help you roughly draw out your highs and lows so you can trade either internal or external structure. But as you guys may know, I mainly focus on trading the external structure. So this is what this exactly draws out for, my external structure. So for example, we're making these break structures. This is a sweep. So whenever I see something like this means this is a fake out to the downside, and I'm actually gonna look for reversals targeting the break structure, which is what happened here. And then this is another break structure, and then later we ended the uptrend, as you can see right here, as we came back down. So this basically helps me mark out my structure and helps me determine my trend of my trades, which will improve my win rate drastically. So that's the number one indicator. Here are all the settings that I personally use. I have them set at default right now, basically. So you guys can copy these settings, but essentially to get these indicators, they are on my WAP website. So if you just go to my website, click the WAP, and then you click on ETU Elite Indicator Package, you get access to all of these indicators in one. So that's number one, right? And you can mess around with the settings as well, but these are the default ones that I've so far been testing that work the best. Number two is just a very simple indicator. This is nothing crazy. This is just a watermark indicator. Not much to really show here, to be honest. You can change this to your name. You have your text vertical on the right side, and then of course the bottom is your symbol, and then this is where you can show the daily percent change if you're interested in displaying that. Otherwise, that's basically what this indicator is. So moving on, this is a very advanced indicator here, which draws out my SMC, POIs, and zones, supply and demand. So this literally draws out everything for me. You can even use the setting here called enable session control, which allows you to toggle it to have it only draw zones in a specified period. So for example, if we go back in time here, right, and you can see these zones do not repaint. So you can see it's clearly drawn out your supply and demand zones while price is printing live. Now on this day specifically, this was straight up a trend day, so price ultimately never came back to any of these. But on a typical day, you will get reversals back and forth, and you can use these as an indication of where the market is exactly going to reverse, right? Because these POIs are very specific, and they also have their own filtering system. So let's disable this enable session control here. So that's a way for you guys can determine with your time zone. You can do some visual customizations here. But this basically draws out all my POIs for me. So this time now you won't ever really see me mark out my POIs manually. The only times when I would draw them out manually like this is just to show the private mentorship students and the course members, my trade thesis, my trade idea, and just have it on my chart. Otherwise, I only use the indicator here to draw everything out for me. So this indicator, not only does it draw out the POI on your specific time frame that you're currently actively on, but also draws out the POIs on every other time frame. So here you can toggle these settings here and look how crazy this indicator can go. Now this is going to get a little bit messy right now on screen. You can also have so many customization options here. For example, you can show only active zones, so it only shows the most active ones that you're really looking to trade off of, and not old ones that already got mitigated. Otherwise, if you disable show only active zones, it's going to display everything here. So for example, you can see, as you can go here, let's go back here. You can see we clearly see all the POIs here being drawn out, right? If we disable enable session control, it will draw them out without it being limited. So if you just plow out price right here, you can basically see in the blue boxes, which is demand, and then you can customize the color into your liking. But essentially, you're just waiting for these price points to hit, or even this right here, as you can see, and you just enter longs off these POIs, and that's ultimately how you trade it, man. I mean, these are very, very accurate, as you can see. Once price gets back here, take your entry, wait for a model that I teach in a course, and boom, you target a week high, and there's your entry, there's your trade, right? So again, very, very useful indicator. This is one of my first indicators I built, and I believe it is extremely useful to you guys. Not only does it have POI markings automated for you on every single time frame that you enable, you can even see, for example, right here, it says the 1 hour, it says 30 minute, 15 minute, 5 minute. It labels all the time frames. And if you don't use any of these time frames, or you don't use all of these, it's okay, because you can just disable that setting. This way you can only use and toggle the ones you guys are actively looking for and using, and ignore everything else. So you can even change these to even the ticks. You can use the seconds. You can even use months or days if you're swing trading. So ultimately, it is very, very powerful. And I recently just added some new features to this. So check it out. And then here are just some visual settings here. Nothing too crazy here, just visuals. Here's some filtering here, which just enables premium discount of the POIs. So if you want POIs to follow premium discount, you enable the 50% calculation where it mechanically determines the range. Otherwise, you disable it and it'll mark every single potential POI, as you can see. But typically for me, I have this set by default on enable because I'm looking for POIs in discount and premium. And then of course you can toggle where you can only show bearish zones. For example, if you're only looking for shorts, if you're looking for longs, you can do only show bullish, which in this example, clearly you kind of really just want to look for long. So you can even disable bearish zones here and just show only bullish. And then you can, of course, this here is basically a memory filter. So this helps you with the performance. So if your PC is slow or any of that, I already thought ahead of time for y'all, right? You can limit the number of POIs on your chart so it doesn't memory overload or cause any performance lags on your chart. So there's that. And then if you come down here, there's just some more visual settings you can change, like the text color for the time frames. You can see obviously they're changing right now. But again, I'll just reset this to default at the end right here, and then some more visual settings here. But that's basically it for the POI indicator. You have your session control, POIs, and here premium discount. So you can use this as structure in determining your premium discount ranges, and it draws them out automatically for you. Now you can see there's a 50% line. So if you just want to disable the 50%, there it is. You can just put the opacity to 0 and it disappears. Otherwise, you keep it at 50%. Otherwise, again, put it at 0 and that's your high, that's your low of the range. You can see how well this works, right? This is the high that got broken. Now you're waiting for price to come back to this range here. So the range is from here to here. You can look for longs, for example, here, and you target with my stop order setup here to go long. Here again, here's the high, here's the low, swing point, right? What are you waiting for? Price to come back to 50%. Take your entry, boom. Continuations, easy continuations, and no, these do not repaint. So I'll play it live for you guys real quick here. As you can see, they don't repaint. This is literally marking out the high and low right here, as you can see. And there it is, right? There it is. So this is price literally playing out live with the highs and lows being marked out. All right, so now let's go back to disabling this, and then we'll go on to the next indicator. Next indicator up is ETU Elite. I'm gonna go over that last because what that is basically an all-in-one that I recently did on stream for you guys. Basically, it includes all the indicators into one. So it keeps everything modular, or not modular, but singular, where for those that don't have TradingView Premium or Premium TradingView services, you can utilize the ETU Elite indicators so that you don't have to have 5 or 6 indicators on your chart, and you can have everything packaged together in one. But we'll go over that at the very end of today's video. So let's go over the next indicator. This is the IFG indicator. This is something I recently built, okay? And this is, straightforward. Read this first if you want to understand how it works, but you have a size filtering system. So if you're looking for IFGs that are bigger, or you can use this as a filter, right? So you can see extremely aggressive, it filters out a ton of IFGs. Now, if you just use aggressive, it filters out the small ones, right? Conservative, you get a little bit more, but if you do no filter, it's gonna literally draw every single tiny IFG there is in the market. And again, for those IFG traders out there that use IFGs as confirmations, this is the perfect tool for you because again, majority of these indicators, they all have an alert system set up, built in the indicator. So if you just go to here, and then you go to add alert. If we can get it right here, let's see, where's that alert? Oh, I just realized you can't add alert right now because we're in replay mode. So if I have to get out of replay mode here real quick. So yeah, I was like, well, there's no way. Here it is. So you can add alert here, and then you can have the fair value, you got mitigation or IFG inverse here as your alert. And then of course, expiration, do whatever you want here. Customized for your liking, but that's basically IFG. We'll go back in replay mode to show you guys what it looks like here without too much stuff going on. But essentially, that's what the IFG indicator is, man. It's one of the best in the market right now because I've checked. Trust me, guys. I've checked every single IFG indicator in the market in the community tab for free. None of them compare anywhere close to how accurate and how good this one is. That's why I decided to make my own and customize my own. Otherwise, I would not be spending all my hard work and time working on something like this if there was already something free that worked good like this. But there's nothing free that actually worked properly. So that's why I have this infamous IFG indicator here, man. Everyone's killing it using these indicators. I highly recommend you guys get it. But you can also use, like you said, 50% calculation here. So this is just basically the same thing with the PY, but doing premium discount. right? And then you also have your fair value gap mode. So for those that trade just fair value gaps, you just enable fair value gap mode, disable show text from inverse, and boom, you have your fair value gaps. And of course, you guys know the plan, right? You can change your colors here. Visuals are very easy to code. These are the visuals here, okay, that you can basically set up. And you can see here is a show inverse, right? And if you go back to IFG, there's IFG mode. Let's go to the next indicator now. So next indicator is the Killzone session. Let me just reset this real quick too. Okay, so you guys can see the coloring is working right here, right? You have the green and blue, or green and blue, green and red coloring here. And then of course, if you don't trade IFGs, so you can just disable this box here and it won't show the text anymore when inversed. And of course, there's some visual things with the text, border width, but we won't get too much into that, right? And a memory option for you guys with slower computers out there, this is perfectly for you. Let's go to Killzone now. Killzone, I use this every single day. Well, I use all these every single day, but this is one of the very important ones because what this does, it helps you mark out the best times to trade in terms of volatility. So you can choose your time zone here, some visual settings earlier, like I said, these are all visual settings. Usually you have just show recent session highs and lows, so you don't clutter your chart with all the possible highs and lows of every session. This is just name displacement. As you can see, I usually just have it default set to 0. 0 works fine unless you think that's too far. Like you can just move it up 2, for example, or maybe let's say you're up 8 and you can have it right underneath like that if you like. These are the times I have by default for my kill zones that I trade and teach in a course. Tell you guys all the time to trade. So I have it set by these times by default, but feel free to change them if you find from your data collection that something works better. But this is just what I found from my data and optimization across 4,000 trades. This is what works best. And then that's basically it here. Not much else to here. There is an alert setting here. So if you just go here, again, we're in replay mode right now, so I'll have to exit out here. And you click here, add alerts. You can add New York session high, New York session low, Asia session high, low, London session high and low. And basically it sends you an alert and it resets every single day. So it sends you an alert as soon as the session high or low sweeps. So if you're looking for, let's say you're trading a fully mechanical strategy. If you're looking for Asia session high or low to sweep, you can just literally enable Asia session high and low here and it will send you an alert, guys. So you don't have to waste your time sitting on the chart the entire day waiting for your setup. Guess what? All you have to do is enable alerts here and you just wait until the alert hits your phone and then you take the trade. Wait for your entry confirmation, take the reversal. Otherwise, you don't need to take a trade, right? This saves you so much precious time. Since you guys that trade session sweeps, which are very good, right? It's a very mechanical at least strategy. It's not the only strategy I use. My playbook is massive. It's only a very small portion of a part of a strategy plan I have, but for the most part, this is what you can utilize, right? Just these alerts and it saves you a ton of time. Last but not least, we got the daily bias. This is a very good indicator because it improves your win rate. Okay, from my testing, it's improved my win rate by 10 to 15%, meaning if I go back through all my trades, I've done optimization on my trading journal, and I realized every time if I just take trades that are aligned with the daily bias it's giving me every single day, I have a higher win rate, right? My win rate is going to be higher by 10 to 15%. So here's the daily bias indicator. I'll show you guys what it basically does here briefly. So again, color settings, you guys can mess around with this, right? It just changes the color here, nothing too crazy here. These are just visuals. Again, visuals are not the important thing, right, in our trading. So those are the color visuals. You can show previous day high and low. So instead of me having to every single day come on a chart and manually mark out previous day high and low, guess what? It does it all for me here. I don't have to worry about a single thing. So if we just go back in replay mode here, go back to daily bias, show previous day high and low, there it is. It shows previous day high, previous day low, right? And again, this is printing in real time. So if we want to go all the way back here, for example, right? Let's go all the way back here. Daily bias bullish, right? So if you're seeing bullish, you're looking for longs. This is literally what I did the whole day. I was looking for longs this entire day, right? With my strategy. We can see previous day high, marked right here, previous day low, marked right here, and then you just let price play out, right? This is already previous day high, and then once price plays out here, so let's go to like the 15 minutes to speed this process up. Maybe I have to go to 1 hour here actually. You can see later on, previous day high and previous day low in live time, it switches, right? So now look, this is previous day high, previous day low now. Okay, yeah, literally updates in live time, so you can't get anything wrong with this, right? Sometimes when you guys are manually marking your previous day high and low, you can actually mess it up by accident, and that could be a big fatal error, guys. So keep in mind. Shows previous day high and low. Of course, you can, like always, visuals, right? change it to whatever you like. I like to just keep it on the default black, but that's up to you guys, right? No specific reason why I chose black. Show true day open here. So this shows your true day open. For those that don't know what that is or what it means, all true day open is basically the opening price of the daily candle. So the daily candle opens here, expands, goes down, closes, right? True day open is just the opening price of the daily candle. So that's where the daily candle open, right? From previous day close, that's a previous day close, aka new day open or true day open. So that's what true day open is here. And then last but not least, we have show daily 50% of the range. So 50% tends to work as a good support and resistance level. You'll see it play out a lot of times in the days, and I even talk about it using this as a support and resistance, right? So for example, let's say, now in this day we're bullish, right? So you wouldn't want to be shorting daily 50% anyway. But for example, if we can go back a few days here, you can find times where previous day or daily 50% you can get trades off of, right? So for example, here we hit daily 50% here. Once we hit this level, you can look for reversal, and that's where the reversal happened. Again, we hit it once again, twice, and you got another nice reversal off of that again. Once we broke above it, you can see how now daily 50% is acting as support now, right? So some people think of this as a break and retest. To me, I don't care what you call it, as long as you understand the concept behind the daily 50% level and why it is significant, because again, it's on the daily candle, and the daily candle is higher time frame. So guys, if you guys don't know, higher time frame is more confluence, higher probability, right? So trading with a higher time direction is very important, hence why you want to have the daily 50% range drawn automatically for you and not mark it manually, because again, human errors happens and you rather have an indicator that marks it 100% manually. So there's that. And then also extend to just current bar. This basically just extends all the way to the far right. If you find that the text is annoying or blocks your screen, you can do that. Otherwise, that's just a visual setting. I keep it just to extend to just current bar. I don't mind it. It's not too big. But of course, like you said, you also change the text size here. If you thought it was small, you can change it to huge if you even want, right? Some people have different monitor sizes. I believe it is scale proportionally, but you'll have to double check on that. So this is basically it, man. These are the indicators I use, and I use these each and every single day. I have them all saved to the default settings, so don't mess them or change any of the default settings. If you just want to trade exactly like me and using the exact settings I use, then keep them like the current settings that already come with indicators. But last but not least, here is just something I'll show you guys briefly here. This is, like I said, it's just all the indicators put together. So let me hide all the indicators here, right? Nothing on the charts here, nothing in the chart. Open up ETU Elite. Boom. You got all your master toggles, all the indicators all in one place. This took a while for me to make, but I figured it's worthwhile because I know some of y'all really do need just one single indicator, because maybe your TradingView plan doesn't support having all 6 individually, modularly. So here it is. Again, you can literally check these out. Basically, you can enable, okay, we'll go with this. For example, if you want to enable watermark, you can. All you have to do is come back in here and enable watermark, and the watermark setting is already at the bottom. So it says watermark indicator. These are the settings for the watermark indicator, right? If you go up, there's a structure and draw liquidity indicator. Here are all the settings for that. And then if you go to the premium discount range, or sorry, not premium discount range, the PY indicator, there's the PY indicator settings for all of that. It's just copy and paste of all the indicators put together, basically. IFG indicator here, all the settings for the IFG indicator. Daily bias indicator, everything from the daily bias indicator. Killzone session, everything from the Killzone indicator. Like, it literally is an all-in-one package for profitability, guys. Once you learn my strategy, go through the 100 course, ask me questions, do your back testing, get the indicators, start testing out the indicators and trading along with them, you will see your win rate and risk reward heavily improve and your profitability will skyrise. So you can see, for example, if I just disable these two, they're gone now. Enable structure draw liquidity. Structure is clearly drawn here on the 5-minute. It looks very nice here, right? It's telling you this break here is an X. If you guys don't know what X means in my strategy, all it means is liquidity sweep. That's how I mark my liquidity sweeps. That's how an indicator marks them. So what does this mean? This is a fake change of character, aka once this sweeps, I'm looking for longs. So longs and longs, right? So there's that. And then if you go to enable POI, now you have all your POI indicators in one right here, right? It has your POIs, and look, if you just go back down here, you can just change all these settings, enable all these if you like, and it will auto update onto your chart. Now, I will say one thing is this one will take a little bit longer to load, likely, just because of how heavily excessive this indicator is, since it's almost like 2,000 lines of code in one indicator, which is far beyond most indicators I believe out there. So definitely keep that in mind if you do want to have everything in one, right? It will probably take a little bit longer to load, but it's not like you will have to toggle and untoggle these throughout your day, right? You literally have them all saved as the default settings. If you just go down here, hit save as default, it'll save all your settings. So you won't have to ever worry about turning them on and off. So you can see all of them work. Here's enable daily bias. Last but not least, go back to enable Killzone. So if you only want some of these, for example, maybe you just want these, so you can just enable these and disable the other ones. And there it is, man. Hope you guys do enjoy today's video, just going over my extensive indicator package. If you guys are interested, like I said, check out the essentialtradersuniversity.com. You can go to click on ETU Elite Indicators, click on the click here to purchase, or go straight to the WAP, and you just check out at the WAP directly, and literally you immediately get access to all of these amazing TradingView indicators with just a single click, right? Because once you get into WAP, WAP does everything for me. You put in your TradingView username and you immediately can connect and access all these indicators on your chart. So I hope you guys, again, do enjoy today's video. You find this video valuable, and hopefully you guys can check out the indicators and, take advantage of them and improve your trading probability. I'll see you guys in the free Discord and also in the 100 risk reward course. Last day for July 4th sale. So peace out.